today. Welcome back to my channel. So today is another monthly make video. I'm going to be showing you everything that I've made this March. It's quite an extensive list, guys, so grab some popcorn and keep watching. So item number one to show you is this Lilac suit. This is made in a linen tencel mixed fabric which I got from Nevercrafts. This was part of their blogger network make which I made for March, and I have lined it. I don't know if you can see that, come a bit closer so you can see that as well. And I've lined that with a, I think this is a Rifle Paper Company Cotton and Steel collab print that I got from the Village Haberdashery a while ago. It was one of those fabrics which I thought was beautiful, but I didn't actually have anything that I wanted to make with it. But this worked out perfectly because I think that really kind of like offsets the purple on the outside. So this isn't a suit, like it didn't come together. The jacket is a style art pattern called the McKenzie blazer. So it's this kind of 80s style double-breasted jacket. You can see it's like really boxy shaped, and it's got the kind of double buttons on the front there. And I have put patch pockets on here. So you've got the option of either patch pockets or welted pockets. And I was having, like, their instructions aren't great. I think everyone knows that. They're very, very light on instructions is probably the best way to say it. And I just can't be bothered to go through all the faff of like Googling how to do a welt pocket. I've done them before, but I didn't think it was necessarily worth it in this case. So what I have done is done a patch pocket, but I've still put the pocket flap on there as well, so it looks just that little bit more polished on there, without, you know, all the difficulties and intricacies of actually doing the welt pockets. And I don't think it takes anything away from how it looks. The trousers is a rare lemonade pattern called the Julietta trousers. And I'll take this jacket off so you can have a look at them better. So pants, as you can see, like this really high-waisted pant here with a kind of peg leg style. It's got these little pleats on the front, two pockets here, and pockets on the bum as well. So this pattern was a bit of an odd one for me, just in terms of the fit. They're not great. Again, this is another pattern that instructions and information is always a little bit light on because pattern making isn't their main thing, you know, like they make clothes, they just also release patterns for some of the items that they make as well. I'll link to them below. It's a very cool brand, by the way, but it does mean that it's a little hard to pick what size is meant to be right, so I picked what I thought was the correct one for me, which ended up being like way too big, and I'm really unsure about whether that's I've misread what it's supposed to be, like in terms of my sizing, or if that was just the style of it and it was really just quite a bit of a balloon leg to it. I ended up taking maybe 1 or 2 inches off each side here, and before putting the waistband on. But yeah, it's worked out fine. For the fly, I ended up just using the same fly zip thing that I do with my closet case ginger jeans, which is something that I've done multiple times in the past. It's actually very easy to use those instructions and kind of put them on any other pant that needs a fly like this, but it just makes things that little bit easier to understand, and because it's a process I already knew, it just speeds things up as well rather than trying to learn a whole new thing from scratch there. But I think they work really well. I don't know, and I've said this before on my blog and on my Instagram, that I don't know if I would be brave enough to wear the full suits all the time. I think that actually the pants work really well, like just like with a little simple vest top like this, and I can see the jacket working well just with like jeans and a t-shirt or something like that, or like a little dress in the summer and sandals. I love this colour at the moment, like everything but lilac and purple seems to really, like, you know, please my eyes right now. So I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot with that colour this season, but I really like how these ones just turned out. I think that worked really well. Yeah, it's hard to find trousers that look really good on me. I think I've just got one of these figures, but I'm quite pleased with how these ones turned out. Right, so on to the next one. So this next make is probably one that you've seen all over the social medias and stuff. This is the latest pattern from Tilly and the Buttons, the Eden jacket, which I have made in, you know, like polyurethane fabric, so it feels a bit like, you know, tablecloth on one side, and then usually backed with a jersey, so like a neoprene on the other side as well. And I found this really funky fabric, which I think you can find in a lot of indie fabric shops at the moment, but I got this one from Like So Amazing, which I hadn't planned on doing anything with at the time, but then I was asked to test this pattern, and it was just a match made in heaven, because let's face it, like this kind of faux or like Kylie print with the Tilly and the Button pattern was just meant to happen. So I don't know if you can see, I'll come a little bit closer so you can see what's happening with the pattern. It's got this little girl's head here, big flower sunglasses, and a little heart-shaped lip there as well. With the pattern itself, you can see that they've got these pockets with the little flaps on the top, and these kind of deep pockets here with a little pleat detail on the front there too. This pattern, you have the option of adding storm flaps here and on the back, so under where the hood is, and a zip on the front. Now, I opted to leave a lot of that out because this fabric is actually not the easiest to work with, and it does require a bit more, you know, patience, and you know, it's difficult to press and things like that. That being said, I did manage to get away with like using iron-on interfacing and things like that, but I knew I would not be able to get particularly, you know, sharp edges and sharp corners with it. So, and I didn't want to have to like, you know, put in a zip and find out that it's wrong and then have to redo it, because there's really no second chances with a fabric like this. Once you've stitched something, you are going to have holes in the fabric that won't go away. So you want to stitch it right the first time. So I thought simplicity was probably the easiest way of doing that. So this jacket has a raglan sleeve. I'll put my head on, you can see. This jacket has a raglan sleeve that goes all the way up here. It's really lovely deep hood, which is great for when it's raining. You can see around the back here as well. So the hood's in 3 pieces, as you can see around the back too. And ta-da! It's fully lined. You can see I've used this pale pink lining on the inside. I'll be honest, if I'm really wearing this, I will probably have it with the sleeves up. This is the weight that I've made it. It's very, very light. It's like a cagoule, if anyone of you knows what that is. Like, you know, there's very lightweight pack-a-mac type things, which are great for like, especially in the UK, like for spring and summer showers where it's kind of warm, but also very likely to rain at the same time. I also think it's going to be really great for festivals. I can just see myself in this, some wellies, a little Cleo Pinafore dungaree on underneath this. I think that would be a really great look for any festivals. It's a bit of a shame that I don't have any that I've got plans to go to, but fingers crossed, you never know, I might get Glastonbury tickets later this month. Later this month. They're out in April, if anyone's looking for those. Chances are not likely, but one can only hope, right? But yeah, it's just really cute. It's got snaps all down the front, as you can see. I have not pattern matched this particularly well, but I'm okay with that. Other people might not be, but you know what? I made a coat. Let's not get too fussy about things. You can also make this jacket as a longer version and with like duffel coat toggles on the front, and make it in a wool if you wanted something that's a bit warmer, a bit snuggly. I've seen some really nice ones in that kind of in those twills, those kind of raincoat outerwear twills, which look really, really good. I think it would look really good on a wax cotton as well. Yeah, there's just so many ways that I think you could reinvent this and make it individual. And to be honest, it's such an easy coat pattern. Like, I've made a few coats in the past. This has definitely been one of the easiest ones that I've done. And of course, with any Tilly and the Buttons pattern, it's really well explained and with great instructions. So I do think that anyone who wants to kind of sink their teeth into something a bit meatier pattern wise, then this is something that would be really fun to do. But yeah, it's not bad, right? I'm gonna just get changed and you can see the next outfit. So this next one I'm showing you is a Stellan tee from French Navy. It's just a classic t-shirt pattern. I've been on the hunt for a good t-shirt pattern for a while and never been 100% happy with the ones that I've made in the past. I think of all of the ones I've tried so far, this is actually one of my favourites, which is made even better by the fact that this pattern is free. I'll link to it down below so you can go direct to the French Navy website and get it yourself if you want to try it out. I did a few little kind of additions of my own to it just to make it my own. So firstly, I shortened the sleeves quite a bit. So for some reason on me, like the actual sleeve would have come down like here somewhere, so I shortened it a bit, and I've added on this ruffled cuff over the edge, and instead of the neckband on the top, I've just put in some ribbing as well, just to kind of go, they kind of match together there. So both the ribbing, two different types of ribbing, and the t-shirt fabric is from Stuff and Still. This is a ribbed fabric, so it's the same on both sides. And actually I think that the rib fabric is really good for t-shirts, especially if you want something that's a little more structured. The upside of using a rib is that the edges don't roll. So if anyone of you have tried, sewing with regular single knit jerseys, so that's the majority of like cotton jerseys you'd buy in the shops, that cut edge will roll like crazy, whereas actually for something like this it doesn't really happen that much, and that's because, as I said, it's the same on both sides of the fabric. I finished off all the edges with a twin needle, and annoyingly I've got this tunneling thing going all the way around. One day I'm going to get a cover stitch machine so that this can be avoided, but for the time being it'll do. Okay. I've also decorated the front of this with some vinyl, and I used my Cricut Maker to do that. So I designed it on Illustrator and then put it through the machine, and it says perfectly imperfect, which I think very aptly describes my sewing. Anyway, I like this t-shirt enough that I made a second one pretty much straight away. So same t-shirt, slightly shorter this time, as you can see. I think that, so this is, the length just hits like just above where my hip bones are, which is here, which I quite liked for like a crop tee. I think it works really well with these kind of high-waisted jeans. Like I've got the ginger jeans on at the moment, and it kind of just sits just over where the waistband is, which I think works quite well. Again, for the sleeve, I took it up short, even slightly shorter than the caramel coloured one, and I've got a ribbing on the edge here, and I did a little patch pocket on this side as well, using part of the ribbing too, and a little square of the fabric that I just put on the edge there. For the neckline, I just used the normal neckband pattern with that. But I think that these t-shirts are just really fun to wear, and I think that they look pretty good in terms of like the fit and the style. So I like my t-shirts to be a little bit on the looser side. I like them to be a little bit boxy, but I want them to look kind of relatively fitted around here. Basically, I have this amazing H&M t-shirt which I love, which I'm always trying to like get my t-shirt patterns to look like that, and this is the closest that it's come. Now I think that the main difference between this and the t-shirt that the ready-to-wear t-shirt I have is the fabric. So that t-shirt is made out of a really lightweight, really soft cotton jersey, and unfortunately like I've not been able to find anything that I've really like that's really come close to that, and so that's always been a bit of an issue in terms of replicating that, but I think this is pretty good. Plus, again, more lilac. Alright, on to the next one. So I've just moved the camera slightly so that you can see a little bit more of the full length of this dress. So this is the hack that I did of a Vogue pattern. For the life of me, I can't remember what number it is, but I'll make sure I link to it down below. So the dress is actually it's a slip dress pattern from one of their collections last year. Really simple shift dress with this little kind of extra bit area on the bust here with some darts. And it's also meant for woven fabrics. I decided to just hack it to bits and make it so that I can use it with a stretch velvet. So this stretch velvet is, I mean, as kind of a yellowy gold as you can get, like stand out as much as possible in this one. I kept the pattern as simple as I can make it. I just sized down by a couple sizes, which is what I made it a couple sizes smaller than I would have made it if I'd made it in a woven fabric. And I also took out the back zip down the back and just kept it as a simple seam down the back there as well, but otherwise I made it the same. And then I added on this ruffle around the hem as well. This dress is just, you know, a lot of fun to make. I would say the only downside to what I've made here is that you can see kind of with the bust here in particular, and because of the direction of the velvet and the way that it's leaning against my body, it means that there's a really stark difference between how this velvet looks here and this velvet looks here, even though it's all on one piece. And that's just to do with how the light is hitting it, which is always a little frustrating because I feel like it's just it makes it look like there's a line going across this way, which isn't there. But otherwise I think it's really, really fun to wear. It's got a facing round side and these little rouleau loop straps all the way around. Yeah, I think this is just part of me trying to, like, you know, dress that little bit fancier for everyday wear. I think with a t-shirt underneath this, actually it's very, very wearable. I can just see myself wearing that. You know, t-shirt underneath this dress, you know, a denim jacket over the top, some sneakers, and I think that that would actually be a really cool look for like day-to-day casual wear. You know, I want to be able to just wear my nicer things out on a more regular basis rather than just be like, yes, I love it, but it's gonna just sit in my wardrobe until I have an occasion to wear it. But I love the idea of, like, you know, dressing a little bit fancy, a bit more of it, but have a little spin around so you can see what that looks like all the way. Alright, so that's this one done. I'll show you the next thing. So this next thing I'm showing you is one of my favourite makes that I've made recently. Actually, it's something that I've worn a lot since I've made it. It's two things actually. One is the Tilly and the Buttons Freya sweater, which is from her book Stretch. I've made it with the extra long roll neck hack, as you can see. Which I think just gives it, you know, just a little bit warmth. You can either wear it rolled like this or kind of scrunched up like how I had it before. And I've made this in a beige rib knit from Stuff and Still. It's just like the perfect basic, you know? Yeah, it's just will go perfectly under everything. It's probably not something that I would ever wear by itself, always with something over the top of, but just one of those layering items that will work through any cord snap. And what I've got over the top of it today is the Utu Pinafore. I'm going to pretend that I've said that right, from the named clothing book Breaking the Pattern. It's a pattern that I've hacked before. I don't know if you remember, but I made this sparkly dress here last Christmas for the New Craft House winter party, where I added little sleeves onto this. I changed the neckline and the arms slightly to accommodate what I needed to wear it as, and just made it like super short, with like a proper party dress. But I really wanted to get around to actually making the pinafore just straight up without any real alterations to it, just because I really like their shape. I think that their patterns just really like, you know, really sharp your curves really nice. It goes into the waist really well. The only adjustment I made to this pattern was just to take a little bit of length out of the waist here, just because I'm quite naturally quite short-waisted in this area, and I took a whole bunch of length off the hem because they are trying to dress ladies are like this tall and I'm this tall. So that's something that I would normally do for name patterns, but otherwise, like, I sewed it straight from the book without any other changes. You know what, guys, I made both of these items together, including tracing the pattern. It took me an afternoon, I think, I finished it in an afternoon, really, maybe 4 or 5 hours of sewing straight, and got both of these things done. They were just really lovely things to sew. Okay, it helped that I've made both of them before, so I knew, like, construction wise what to do, but it was just one of those things that was ridiculously satisfying to make. It's really simple to make, and then, you know, it's really, really effective, which is always amazing. The fabric for this one, I don't know if you can see, it's this plaid that I got when I used to work in Lewisham. I got it from Lewisham Market from this lady in the market stall. She's still there apparently, maybe not every day, but she does still go. So this like was just one of those finds that I hung on to for the longest time, waiting for the right pattern to come along to make something with, and I definitely think that this was it. I've actually still got loads of that fabric left. This only took a metre. Yeah, not just very quick and stylish, but also very economical with the fabric. It's not too bad, right? Alright, so on to the next one. So I've got 2 more things to show you today. I'm wearing both of them, but I will just talk about the dungarees first. So this is the Marilla Walker Roberts collection dungarees. It's called a collection because it is a collection of patterns. You could make 4 or 5 different things out of this one pattern, so if anyone's looking to refit their whole wardrobe, you can just do it with just one. So the pattern comes with a jumpsuit, which has like almost t-shirt shaped jumpsuits, and these dungarees, a pinafore dress, and another top as well. You can do 2 lengths with the pinafore dress as well. So it's kind of covering all bases. I use a very similar pattern base for all of them. So for example, both the jumpsuit and the dungarees use the same bottoms, and the top part is used the same in like the jumpsuit and the top, that kind of thing. Again, I'll link to it down below. It's a pattern that I've seen loads of in the past. It's not a new pattern by any means, it's just one that I've only just gotten around to making. And I've seen so many lovely versions of it on Instagram and things like that, that I really wanted to make my own one. And I did, finally got around to it. Coincides very nicely with the current sewing challenge on Instagram called Sew Bibs, where they're encouraging people to make dungarees and pinafores and the like. I have no idea why, it's a thing apparently, but I love dungarees, so I was like, that's right up my alley. So just to quickly talk about this pattern itself, it's like a really wide legged pattern at the hip, like it's meant to be very loose in this area and then come into more of a peg leg shape at the leg. It has these really skinny straps, as you can see a bit more clearly around the back, and they come around to the front. Now on the front I decided not to put buttons on. I've made a little buttonhole here and then threaded the strap through and then tied a knot at the end, which looks pretty cool. Terrible if you need to go to the bathroom quickly because they're a bit fiddly, but this is the price you pay for, you know, not wanting to put buttons on. I have put little buttons in on the side here. Now there is like a little button tab and these buttons here. I'll be very honest though, you don't need to do that. You could probably just sew up right to the top and not worry about any buttons or anything like that on here at all, because this really is very wide enough to get over your hips. I mean, double check that. But let's face it, like if you're going according to the measurements of the pattern and you pick the one that's correct for your hip, then yes, you're going to have ample room to wiggle yourself in and out of this without having to use buttons for it. So do buttons if you want to. Be aware that they are mostly there for decorative purposes, but I kind of like how these look, so I'm quite happy with them. It's got pockets in the front here. I would be honest, if I was making this again, or I could just add them on, I would put some back pockets on here too, just to make them a bit, you know, a bit more functional. I like to have my dungarees with a lot of pocket space because I'm a bit more of a utility trouser. I've made this in a cotton twill, no stretch in it, just a plain cotton twill that I got from Stop and Still. It's currently covered in fluff. I need to attack this with a lint roller. The downside to wearing black is that it just picks up lint and dust and stuff like crazy. But yeah, they're really comfortable. I think that I'll probably make another pair, maybe in something a bit funkier. I would say this, that I wouldn't make it in anything particularly heavy, guys, so like no heavy denims, cord or anything like that, just because of how wide it is here. You want to have something that has like a little bit of drape, otherwise I'm really worried that it would just look like this and it would be like proper clown trousers. But as it is, I really love what they look like, and they're really, as I said, really comfortable. I just wear these all day long. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to talk about is what I'm wearing underneath this, but I'm just going to change out these dungarees so you can see it better. Alright, so the last thing I'm talking about is this little t-shirt right here. So this is the Papercut Kyoto t-shirt. pattern. It's one that I've used multiple times before. Love the pattern. It's just, you know, really easy to use if you like that kind of slouchy, loose fit thing. I made another one of these in my last make video, where I used it to make pyjamas with the sushi jersey. This one's just a little bit different than what I've made before, in that I've made it like a lot more cropped than where it was, because usually these ones come up to maybe around this kind of length, so I took off like a huge chunk around the bottom. I've also added a little something at the sleeve too. So you can see there's this whole row of gathers around the edges here, and the same on this side here, and that's just adding a bit more volume to the sleeve there too, which I think is just that little bit of fun. I wanted to make something that was a bit more oversized and a little bit more dramatic in that area, although I think looking at it now I could have probably done something even bigger with it. This jersey is a really lightweight cotton jersey that I got from Stuff and Still, and I used a contrasting fabric, just a plain white, all the way around as the hemband, cuff band and neckband as well, just because I think, you know, there's enough bananas on here, probably didn't need to add more. What I really want to do is add something slogan wise here. I can't decide whether I want to do something like go bananas or something like that, but something will probably end up in this space. I think that this kind of blank area right here will just sit, you know, have a really cute little vinyl thing going on right there. So if you have any ideas on what I should put on there, just leave a comment and let me know. Who knows, you might see your slogan on here at some point in the future. But yeah, I love using my Cricut maker at the moment, so I just, you know, any excuse to make a slogan t-shirt, I will go for it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. It looks like I had a really productive month this month, although to be fair, the Eden jacket was something that I made in January for the pattern test, so I'm going to count it for my March make, just because that's when the pattern was released. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned, and hopefully there'll be more videos for you to see soon. Thanks guys, bye.